The fishing news is brought to you by Interlux Marine Paint and Okuma.
The best part about fishing the salt, especially the deep, is there's no telling what you'll find until you put a bait out, which is exactly what folks aboard the Voyager found out last week on the final black sea bass trip of the year, as a 300 to 400 pound Mako was eventually hauled aboard the Voyager through the transom door on a black sea bass trip. I'm Jim Hutchinson with the New Jersey Delaware Bay edition of the Fisherman Magazine, and the full story on that catch is posted over at thefisherman.com. You know, we first got a photo of that sometime on Thursday or Friday, posted that on Facebook, and everybody wanted to know, well, how the heck did somebody hook up with a black sea bass and on that same rig hook up with the Mako? Well, Rick Pereira, Sergio Ortiz shared the story with me, and finally talked to Captain Jeff Gutman on Friday. It actually, the shark had been stealing some of the black sea bass, and it eventually breached. And Mikey Figueroa, he was the first on the scene who grabbed a Talica, a 50, brought it downstairs. They were catching some bluefish on board as well, so he put out a bluefish fillet, and lo and behold, they brought aboard that big fish, cleared the lines. Mike told me that the fillets, the first fillets, before they staked out the fish, were 178 pounds each. So that definitely puts that big Mako at well over 300 pounds. And Mikey tells me he's got the jaw. It's definitely a Mako. Some folks were wondering if that was a poor beagle, but it was definitely a Mako. Definitely a heck of a story, and definitely why folks love to go out fishing on those party boats, because you never know what you'll find. The problem, of course, is black sea bass is closed for the year, and we won't have that opportunity again until spring. NOAA Fisheries won't allow us to fish for black sea bass in January and February, which puts us on some other options, and folks are still getting out there for blackfish. Some people still have their boats in the water, like Todd Webb, and he found his personal best. He caught and released over the weekend 14.8 pounds. I know he fishes out of Little Egg, so I'm assuming he was east of Little Egg. Tells me he was in 65 feet of water as well when he released that big fish. But many of the party and charter boats throughout New Jersey and also down through Delaware continue to fish for blackfish in this first quarter of the new year, especially down in Indian River Inlet, where folks have been fishing for around Reef Site 11, for example, continue to take some of those citation tog. For much of the party boat fleet, of course, ling, cod, whiting, and now mackerel are fitting the bill to start this first quarter of 2017. In fact, some boats like the Miss Belmar Princess, starting Friday, will sail every day for mackerel as long as those fish are around. I talked to Nick Honicheski the other day. He said he found some mackerel as well. So definitely an option to put some fresh mackerel on the grill, or if you're looking for some baits for the season ahead, that's definitely an option. Herring around as well. We're getting some reports of some herring running through the inlets, providing some great light tackle opportunities if you're throwing shad darts or some small spoons. And I wouldn't be too surprised if some of those herring weren't out at the mud hole as well, which is where we found out the guys at Shore Catch Guide Service to end the new year. Captain Jim and Captain Adam found some bluefin tuna out there on the grounds last week as well. And when I talked to Jeff Gutman about that big Mako shark, said the water temperatures were rather warm. So it's not a surprise that we have some of those big fish that are just offshore along the Jersey coast. With all these closures I talk about, the big story this week, of course, and if you're watching this video on Thursday, it's the New Jersey Marine Fisheries Council meeting at the Galloway Township branch of the Atlantic County Library. That's Thursday at 4 o'clock, but of course the ASMFC will give a fluke presentation at 6:30. Folks, if you're going to that meeting, make sure you remember respect. Many of the folks that are going to be holding this meeting are not the folks we're angry at. Most of the anger is being levied towards the federal government, which made this decision to cut our harvest so low for the 2017 season. But the meeting on Thursday is our first opportunity to see the full suite of options and give some feedback. I've talked to the folks at the Recreational Fishing Alliance. They don't believe the recreational harvest limit should be set at 3.77 million pounds. What they're doing, and what many folks on Thursday are going to be asking, is to send the federal government back with a new ABC, an annual allowable biological catch. So many acronyms in the fisheries management business. An ABC of 16.26 million pounds, which would then put the recreational harvest limit back upwards of 5.42 million pounds. and then we'll get an opportunity to look at some separate options. All right, there is a petition online. You can take a look at thefisherman.com. Look for that story about the meeting because there's a petition to sign. Again, we'll get the final ASMFC decision sometime in February. Back to the States in March. The Delaware meeting is set for January 17th in Dover, Delaware. And we will have more on that fluke fiasco in the January edition of the Fisherman Magazine. That's out this week. We've got our Dreamboat wrap-up, all kinds of articles, the latest reports, of course, the calendar of events if you're looking for flea markets and boat and outdoor shows. And we do have a breakdown on what's going on with that fluke situation. And if anything is breaking from this meeting, I'll be there on Thursday. So if something breaks, we'll make sure to update you and post it over at thefisherman.com. But have faith, who knows? We've got the inauguration on January 20th. And could be surprised. Maybe we can have some great fluke fishing again in the new year. Hang in there, catch them up, and if anything changes, we'll let you know. But we'll see you next week here at thefisherman.com.
The fishing news is brought to you by Intellux Marine Paint and Okuma.